Hello, everyone. I'm going to be inviting a very special guest. Um, Five of the day. Um, it's going to be Maria from Remember Me, and I'm so excited. Hi. Let me invite you again. I just sent the invite again, so you should be able to join. Hi again, Shane. Thank you for joining us. So hopefully, Maria, I'm not the pro at these lives, but I have done a few of them this week alone. So let me see if she got it. Okay, I'm going to invite you again. It's a learning curve, and we're fine to do it. Um, okay, I think you requested to. Is it going to work? Okay. I'm seeing what I don't mind. The... Yes,
Hi.
yes, we
Hi.
did it.
I was trying to join from my laptop, but
I see.
all right.
It's all right. We made it more complicated for you,
I
huh?
feel like I have like a crazy glare. I was trying to give you like a vibey, low light situation.
Ooh, strike the
Hi.
mood.
Who's on here?
Maria!
Hi, guys.
Every time, look at all these people loving you.
Hi, Shane. Love Shane.
Aw.
How are you doing,
I'm
Katie?
so good and I'm so happy. I literally have okay, until like about 6 lives ago, I had never done an Instagram live before. I you have done TikTok lives before, but I'm like Instagram, I don't know why it's always intimidating me to do these. We did them to introduce our producers, and then I was like, wait, this is such a great way to like for people to get to know each other and for me to get to know people. But I want to say just a couple of things about you, and then I want to
Oh
hear.
my
I
God.
know. So I was thinking about this, and I like I feel you know how much I feel about you and Rachel. I think you know. Like it just it makes me emotional because I think that when you're in this moment of FTD, no matter how you get introduced to it, it's a moment of crisis in some ways, and then people come along and they're a lifeline. And I've been like talking to other people with FTD stories, and I'm like, you and Rachel were my lifeline. And even though I had already lost mom when I met y'all, but you gave me words to my experience, like you helped me understand what I had even been through. You enabled me to process my grief in new ways, and I will forever be a huge fan of the both of you and be in your corner forever. So I say to you all the time, and I say to other people, go to remember me. Go to remember me. And I know there's so many beautiful people in this world doing advocacy work that are highly educational and everything, but you and Rachel are like a warm hug and a friendly conversation with a cup of coffee, and I'm just so thankful to have you here, Maria. So,
You're the
anyway,
Can I just say, sorry, I've been trying to get rid of this glare back here. Can I just say, though, that you say this every time you talk to us? You're so complimentary. You're so sweet. There's just a love fest here, but we feel the same way about you. I think you're doing amazing things, and we're so excited to support you. And I remember it might have been a couple years ago, we did a screening in our little Remembers Only group of front porches, and like I still to this day am like, that was the single most impactful Remembers Only event we've ever had. The most engagement, and just I don't know, it was just really powerful. And I think you have just such an infectious energy, and you're the best.
yeah.
We love you.
Well, I might say that to you every time, but not all of these people have gotten to hear all of that. So I need to say it publicly. I'm going to shout it from the mountaintop. I'm going to keep saying it. So deal with it.
You're so
Tell us, Maria, about you. It's kind of, I think it's cool just to get to talk to you for a moment. Solo, because I know you two usually come as a package deal.
That's
So tell us,
great.
just for those people watching who don't know, remember me or any of your story, I would love for you to give a quick bio, and then I ask people, how did you get to know FTD? Um, so,
I feel like that will be a little bit wrapped up in what Rachel and I call our elevator pitch.
Ooh.
But basically, the way Remember Me started was it was 2020, like we always say, like the period of time where you were like wiping down your groceries when you bring them in, like that. I don't know if you can take yourself back to that time because we've all tried to like block that out, but like it
We
was
all
just like
remember.
it was like that isolating time of like can I leave my house? And I'm like trapped with like a 2.5-year old, and I've been like already feeling so isolated for years because my mom was diagnosed with FTD and ALS. She had the dual diagnosis of primary progressive aphasia and, had a really nice bedside manner from the doctor who said, "Oh, yeah, this is FTD. And we're pretty sure you have ALS too, so it'll probably cut your lifespan in half that we just gave you." Literally said it just like that. I was in the room. But anyway, like I was already in my own little world, and then my world got even smaller with COVID, and I just really wanted to do a project. I studied film and TV in college. I did radio, and I just was like, how can I use my creativity? And that's something my mom had always taught me too.
Mm.
My mom was an artist, and she would, anytime we had a problem where we're trying to work through something, she'd always like make us art journal. So I was
Mm.
like, you know what? I just like need something right now to really communicate to people like what I've been going through, and in a way that like I just really want them to understand.
Mm.
And at that time, it's like the landscape has changed so much in 4 years of what people understand about FTD. But I just thought, how can I use, and this is where there's so much synergy, like how can I use storytelling to like really make people care about this?
Mhm.
And I think the thing that I've always hung on to with my mom, my journey with my mom, is that you lose your person like before you lose them. And I wanted people to understand that. And
Mm.
I wanted for myself to try and remember my mom, like my like before mom.
Yeah.
And that's how like Remember Me kind of came to be. And I had been following Rachel and a few other people like in the FTD community, and I posted just like randomly one day like I want to do a project, and Rachel was the first person that answered. Long story short, the connection we felt immediately was just like, what? And I was like, do you want to be my co-host on this podcast? And she was like, who are you again? And and basically like kind of the rest is history, but we've been building this podcast turn community, turn like a lot of advocacy work for like over 4 years now. And it's all fueled by so much love for my mom.
Mm.
Um, it's really like that's the heart of it all.
Yeah.
And Rachel's love for her dad, Frank, and about 6 months, not even 6 months into starting the podcast, our parents both passed away 1 month apart, plus one day. And yeah, it just kind of like was one of those moments of like, do we keep going? Do we say like, it was nice meeting you, weird internet person? Like, or do we like really dig in,
Yeah.
you know? And I do think that a turning point for like just gaining more of a community was like when we started talking about our grief, you
Mhm.
know? And of course, you grieve forever when from diagnosis, but talking about the other side, I think people have really connected, and we've heard from so many people too that like they look at us and follow our journey and they're like, I think I'll be okay on the other side because I see that they're
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm totally rambling, but when you're really
No.
passionate about something,
Yes,
what can I
you're not
say?
rambling. You're making so much sense. And your story of meeting each other, you know how like the classic like kids meet each other in the playground. They're like, "Hey, you want to build sandcastles?" Yeah.
Yeah,
And then they're like, "You want to do this again next week?" And they're like, "Yeah." "Hey, wait, what's your name?"
yeah, exactly.
That's what
That's
it sounds.
exactly what it was.
It's kind of like, "You want to make a podcast? What was your name again?"
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the best,
It's the
because it's
best.
just like the way kids are. They just look like, I don't need to know your name. I just love
No,
to play with you right now.
exactly. I think too, like nothing like I think I think Emma Willis has said this before. Someone said like nothing levels the playing fields like FTD. Like nothing just like gets people, I don't know, just like that deep connection from in an instant when you're like, oh my God, we're both on this
Yes.
journey, you know?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. It's like, and again, like this is why I like think about, I tribute you to, because even when I was a guest on your podcast, I for sure learned things just from your questions. Like one of
Mhm.
the things that always stands out to me is you said, um, I don't remember if you phrased it exactly this way, but did you realize you were experiencing trauma at the time? And like, just even that question, I was like, huh? And it was a year, I think, so we lost my mom in 2016. So it's been 8 years now. And I think we met because of the first short film I made, which
Yes,
is
yes.
like also synergy when you think about, um, I love that your coping mechanism that your mom taught you is art. Like
Mhm.
because like one, I resonate, but two, like what a beautiful, healthy coping
Yes.
mechanism. Like so many people are like, I'm gonna spend money on frivolous shopping or get drunk or worse, and you're like, I'm gonna do art.
Yes.
But the fact that I made my first film the same year that you two started this podcast is really like sticking out to me right now.
Yeah.
Really special, because here we are. But okay, so you're 4 years in. You know each other really, really well now.
Hmm.
Do you want
I
to
just got
share
off
any
the phone.
drama or tea? Do you want to share tea right now?
Of
No, I
what
don't even.
of what
I don't
variety?
know. Do you and Rachel feel more like sisters at this point than you do like fresh friends when you first started out? Or how has it been for you two?
Um, yes. So I have two sisters,
Right,
brother,
right.
and Rachel's an only child. So I feel like I I'm not gonna keep your mouth shut. Okay, she says. I
Rachel, you're not here, so we can say whatever we want, right?
I feel like she called me tonight. She's like, I didn't know you were doing a live. I'm like, it's the same as like a sister calling, being like, I didn't know you were going out to dinner with
Why
dad.
didn't
Like,
you
like,
tell? Why didn't I get invited?
yes,
Rachel, you're invited.
Rachel, you're always invited.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a family, nothing. I remember one of my like closest girlfriends, and she's still a very good friend of mine, just to paint a picture, like I remember her saying to me when we're going through everything with my mom in that early stage of like, what is this? And I just remember my dear friend Kata being like, I love you, I support you, but like I'm never gonna be able to fully understand like what you're experiencing. And she was like, I want you to like find someone who like gets it. you know? And I think maybe a negative person would be like, why isn't my friend,
Yes.
saying she's gonna be there? But like she said it in such a way of like like there was understanding there that she was never gonna fully
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
And so like I feel like when I met Rachel, it was like I found like my person that like gets it. And I think the best part of our friendship too is that like we're just so fun with each other. So like there's just so much like light to balance out. Like, I mean, it's pretty tough talking about FTD every single day.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I don't know if people realize, like, especially when it's so personal. There's a lot of people that work in this field that, like, they're passionate, but they don't have that person, like, they haven't, like, seen this in their person.
Mhm.
And like so experiencing that and talking about FTD every day, it's so heavy, but like we just find a way to make things fun. And so it's a really, I think it's a sisterhood for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Rachel, do you agree?
She left. She's like, this
She's
is boring
like,
now.
bye.
We love you both. Uh, I wonder too. I resonate with that so much, and like I would say, like my one of my shower time for the boys. Get those boys clean. Um, you lose your person before you lose your person from Joe. So
I
heartbreaking. Such a
can't
different kind of grief.
see all the
Oh,
chats,
you
so
can't.
sorry. Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Rachel says shower time for the boys and that she loves us both. And our friend Joe Key says you lose your person before you lose your person. So heartbreaking. Such a different kind of grief. Thank you for putting words to that. Friends finish each other's sentences and laugh about it. And then Shane says, howdy, watching while I cook dinner.
Oh, hi.
Um, yeah. Um, I resonate. For me, like some of my coping mechanism when I was going through this with mom was like denial, like I don't really, I don't, I like, it's kind of like, give me what I need to know, but like too much information is going to stress me out so much. So even though I got the diagnosis, I was kind of like, I don't know if I want to know how bad this is. Um, then I made my first film and I was kind of like, okay, I did my part. I did something and kind of like, like, let's be done talking about FTD. It's so hard because it's not just, it's the grief of your person. It's also for the fear of if you get it,
Yeah.
it's processing this depth in such a way. And then when it became very, very clear that me making this feature film was a must, I was like, all right, we're going back in the trenches, like facing my fears, facing my grief again, doing the hard work, writing the story that's mine, but yours and all of ours, and like very, very real moments. It's like, oh my God, crying while I'm writing a script, But you and Rachel, 4 years straight in the middle of actually losing your parents, like no time to process. So how do you navigate all of that? Like, I know you said you and Rachel have fun, and I appreciate that. But how do you find your support and hope and all of it, and even just like resilience and determination to keep doing the work?
I mean, so Rachel and I always keep it real.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's really hard. It's really hard, and some days like we're not good at
Yeah.
it. One thing that we've said from the beginning is like, if today is not the day, or something's feeling really heavy, or, you know, we like some interviews like wreck us, like,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's a different one for me than it is for Rachel.
Yeah.
Obviously like a father-daughter story or like
Yeah.
a mother's daughter, but so we've always told each other like we have this thing that we say the ranch comes first. I don't know if you've ever watched
No,
Yellowstone,
I haven't watched that one. I
but
can't.
basically there's a saying and it's really great. Kevin Costner is the best. Um, but they always say the ranch comes first. And so we always say the ranch comes first. And what that means to us is like our mental health, our families are like number one, always. And so, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, we're going to walk away from a sponsorship or we're going to walk away from, you know, a big trip or speaking engagement or something because like it's just like it's gonna be too much, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And I think every time we've done that, and sometimes too, it's just like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. Like you have, as you're doing creative work like this and advocacy work, like people aren't always gonna get it. They're not gonna appreciate it. They know that you're coming from such a good place that sometimes you can get taken advantage of. And I feel like that can be sometimes harder than the emotional processing of
Mm,
the the interviews and like facing the grief and FTD every day. Is just like that we're putting our heart and soul and like sometimes people don't get it or sometimes we're like, why do we have to fight so hard, like we're doing so much good. And but every time we've been like, you know what, that's too much, that's not a good partner, that's not a
yeah,
good move for us, and we come back to like it doesn't feel right or it's not fueling that creativity and
yes,
joy, like we
yes,
pass. And
yes.
we've started getting much more comfortable with that, but I feel like when you're hustling to build something, you don't want to say no to anything, right?
I do know. I
And-
know. All
Yes.
yes.
And so you're like, but we're finally, I think, to answer your question, 4 years in, you get to this place of like, okay, I know what we're doing. I feel good about it. We've had so much personal growth through this of just like holding our boundaries, figuring out like what is meaningful to us and
Mm,
why, and reminding ourselves like why we're doing it. And
mm,
like, I think it's just, I think it's really nice to be in a partnership of doing a big project like this
mhm.
because there's just so much self-doubt and I don't know. It's just like we're always like picking each other up, and then we're also so respectful of like, this is too much for me. That's too
Mm,
heavy. Like, I'm so sensitive. Like, I always cry for everything. Like, sometimes we go to a conference and I'm like, Rachel, I need my like hotel cry. And like, we go and sit, and I just like, it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot holding
yes,
people's stories in your
yeah,
heart and like we really care about the people that come on our podcast, the people
yeah.
that PM us. Like we really care. And like I think just taking the time and just staying true and taking breaks, like it's so many things.
Mm,
Um and it's been like a learning, but I think like through it all having a partner in it,
yeah.
it's like okay, I don't know if you're like a Brene Brown fan, but like there's some like video circling around that's like her and her husband. I know me and Rachel are married, but in some ways we kind of are. Like she'll be like, "Oh, my husband in the corner is like, so she has this thing of like, I can give 20% today. Can you give 80? Like, you
I
know,
love that.
it's
Yes.
and
It's a
so
dance.
and some it's a dance. It is. And like I think because we're people who are like very in touch with our
Mhm.
emotions, we just listen to that. And I think sometimes there's always the business side of this, right? Too, of like we have to fuel this work, right? And that's like not the part that's like most
Yeah.
comfortable for us. We just want to create. I know
Yeah.
you get it. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know, just I think sometimes it's hard to be this type of a business organization, whatever, because like it's so much heart, you know?
Mhm. Yes. Yeah,
Um,
you're giving, and this is why you're so impactful because it's so much sincerity and so much like vulnerability alongside of your people that you're conversing with and caring about. I was thinking as you were talking about like how powerful it is when you find your alignment with like what you want and what you can tolerate and what you can't tolerate. And you know, like when you're building something that's so important to you, we like my producer and I, like Kara, who you've met, I feel the same way with her. She says, in so many ways, we're birthing a baby, and I'm your midwife, and you're the one holding the baby. And I think about that with this film. But for me, it's like, yes, I want this so badly, but it is my child, and I'm going to protect it, and I don't want bad energy with it. You know,
yeah.
it's like just, and not even bad, but just it's like that. It's that I always call it FES energy because
Wait, what is that? Oh,
yeah,
yes, yes, you have said that. Yes,
because
yes.
it's like if someone gives you like a half-hearted yes, it's kind of like, whoa, why? Like, what, like, this is like my whole life.
Right.
Like, so I'm looking for people, they're not going to feel exactly the same way about my baby, but I'm not letting someone marry my child that's like, yeah, that's a good option.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
Yes.
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 So,
I will say, I will say too, I forgot to mention though, as we've been doing this whole like, that doesn't feel good, that relationship doesn't feel good, or I don't want to go there with that conversation or whatever. Every time we've made these difficult decisions to walk away from things or to hold boundaries or whatever, like we've been able to see now that it's been 4 years, like how things play out from that. And there's always going to be, I mean, our parents are like, we say they're looking out for this, they're guiding it. So, like, it always ends up working out,
yes.
you know?
Yes, and I think we can't it's like when we say no, that is saying yes to something else. But you can't have space for that other thing if you're just saying yes to everything. Um, yeah. I'm like
Can I
tracking.
have a podcast about small business woes? I don't know. I know
Oh,
this was supposed to be more about
yes,
FTD, but
yes, yes.
it's all of
Well,
it.
it's all the things. It's all the things, and I think it's also interesting that you mentioned Brene Brown because one of her quotes is like a huge catalyst to this movie and just Maggie's character in the movie. And her quote was about like how she doesn't think of it as a midlife crisis, but it's like a midlife unraveling that happens.
Mm,
And I read that years ago and just thought about how true that felt for me. Like coming into midlife, going through something like grieving the loss of your parent through a disease like FTD. Um, for me, it felt like it peeled away all the layers that I had lived under for so long of like people pleasing and like, making myself conform to whatever other people wanted. Um, etc. Like being afraid to do things because of what would people think,
right.
and I started at the same time, like 2020. I was like, my word for the year is moxie. Like
Mm,
I'm going to do things regardless of how I think people would judge me. And in fact, if I think people will judge me, I probably need to do it.
right.
Like just force myself into it. But anyways, that is such a catalyst of like Maggie's journey, and Wake Up Maggie is like trying to hold your life together so tightly and control what you can't control. And then life has its way of coming at you and unraveling you. And if you let it, it can be the most beautiful catalyst to bring good into the world and like hope and healing, which is what you and Rachel do all the time.
Are you a poet?
I'm just learning from smart people, that's all.
You're
um,
amazing.
tell me tell me this. Well, I have two questions for you. Let me think. Okay, first question. What do you think Leah would think of the huge impact you've had through Remember Me?
That's such a hard question. I don't
Do you
know.
think she
I
would
mean,
listen to your podcast?
oh my God. Anything I ever did, my mom was like, we Rachel and I have joked about this. Like, my mom would literally be like, "Your smile is like Julia Roberts." Like anything that I was, oh my God, when I like joined the track team, she was like, "You run like beautifully." Like everything I did was just like, I think she'd be so proud. I think that she'd also be like, I think she'd be really proud of the art creative part of it, that like I'm really doing something creative. But I do think that she would be really proud of just how Rachel and I, because I think of like my mom looking over Rachel too. I don't know. I think she'd be proud of just like how we've grown as like moms and people like through it, you know? Not a hard question then because you nailed that. Okay. Um, I
Yes.
don't know. I've asked my dad, like, what do you think she'd think of this? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And he's like, your mom would just want you guys to like live, you know? And this is what feels right to me. You know, this is me living. And I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
say, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just feel like she's
I
around,
love
you know?
that. I do. I do know. I like sometimes I don't know if this is how you feel sometimes, but some of those moments where you just feel really alone in your work, where you're just like, "Ugh, like, is this gonna happen? You know, you have those moments of like panic or just like, oh my God, what am I trying to do?
Right.
I like find so much comfort in thinking of my mom just cheering and like being like, oh my gosh, beautiful answer. Remember me as an impactful community. Mama is right. We agree.
So sweet.
Yes. So,
I don't know. I think I wish, you know, that's the thing. I wish we knew. Um,
mhm.
yeah, it's a beautiful journey and she's at the center and I don't know. I think she'd be like, you did listen to me on
Yes,
some of the things I said.
of course.
You know how you get older. I mean, I think I'm fortunate because I had like such an incredible mom, but like the older I get, I'm like, oh my God, she was right about everything. Like,
Yes. Oh,
especially as I grow as a mom, like that's one
yes.
of the things I miss. Like, I feel like I grieve the most is like experiencing motherhood alongside like with her to talk to about it. Um, but I just think of her every single day and she's with us. So I don't know. It's a tough question.
Yes, yes. You did great. Shauna says, or no, Shane, you and Rachel have found a profound way to bring life-changing meaning to your stories.
Yeah.
Um, what do you, Joe asks, what do you know now about this journey that you wish you knew at the start?
Well, what I learned last season, and I don't know if this is too like tactical of an answer, but like last season was all about like all the different behaviors and aspects of the disease, like with storytelling, but then also like the experts from Penn FTD Center talking about like why these things happen and how they're a part of the disease. Like
Yeah.
I really wish I really wish I knew more about the disease.
Yeah.
Um, like, you know, when she was living. I think there's so many moments that were kind of blurry for me of like, is this disease the disease or not?
Uh-huh.
And I guess I wish I mean, what can like, I did the best I
Yeah.
could with the information I had at the time. I love that line. But I wish I knew that some things are just truly out of her control, you know? And I always share this story um about how my dad was an incredible caregiver to my mom, and one of the things that was really important to him was just like trying to keep the things that she loved like going till the very end. So he was like, your mom would want to be in church every Sunday, so we're gonna take shifts and like take her to
Oh,
church. And so we're Greek Orthodox. I was raised Greek Orthodox. It's not really a church where you like talk in the pews, you know. It's a very quiet experience.
yes.
And my mom was moving around, touching people's faces, saying I love you to people. And I think because growing up, I had like, my mom and my yaya being like, you don't talk in church, don't move in church,
Mhm.
it was so anxiety provoking for me when
Mhm.
it was my shift to take her to church. Like I can feel it like in my back, like remembering just like I would take her up for communion and she would like see people, and I don't know if this was her way of like hugging people or communicating, but she'd like touch their
Mm.
face. Like she'd go like this, and I was so uncomfortable. Like I want to crawl out of my skin. Fast forward to after my mom passes, and it was like probably the first, maybe it was like the first memorial or something. The first time it was like I was actually like back in church with like a packed church, and the priest was giving a sermon, and he talked about my mom. And he said how beautiful it was and how everybody in the church loved that she would touch their faces and reach her arm out, and like he saw it as like her expression of love for people because she couldn't communicate the way she used to. And it's like just so interesting because like here I was so anxious,
Mhm.
like so uncomfortable, and like his point of view of it was like she was trying to connect with people, and people still to this day will come up to me and be like, oh, I just remember every time. I mean, some people I'm like, I don't know if she really like knew you, but like you think she did. So okay. Like this one guy will be like, I just know when I came into church, she knew it was me. Like she would like make a face and like reach out her hand. Like I think she made people feel really special. But like
Aw.
for me, it was
Yes.
like I wish I had let some things go.
Yeah.
I wish I had just been like, that's who she is now.
Yeah.
She's gonna touch people's faces in church. And you know what? She's not gonna follow the rules that we're supposed to follow in church because she has a neurodegenerative disease. Like,
Yeah.
I just wish I had that. I just think it's a good like lesson. Just like when I heard the priest say that, I was sobbing because I'm like, why did I look at it in such a negative way? I really should have just been like, this is beautiful that my mom, with what she had left, was still trying to
Yeah.
connect.
Yeah.
So, sorry, that was a really long answer.
It's a good answer though, because it's it is like, wow, information scared me, but information is like powerful and healing a lot of times. And like, had we known that those behaviors were a part of it, and have for me, I would have been able to explain. Yeah, Joe says thank you, thank you. I don't want to take a ton more of your time because I told you we would do like 30 minutes and we're
That's
already over.
okay. I'm
I
blabbing and my kids
love
are
it.
asleep, so it's quiet for
Ah,
once. It's just Porter
ah.
snoring in the background,
I
but
um I would love to know. I think you and Rachel support so many people. Like, and I know, like joining, remember, oh, I want to just say real quick, the season you were mentioning with all the doctors and the information is season 8, just for people who don't know. That's correct, right?
the season I was referring to, yeah, season 8.
Um, Shane says Faye's very long journey drug me kicking and screaming into a much more authentic life. If there was a gift from behavioral variant of FTD, that was it. I agree, Shane, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to know, and I know we can join Remembers Only, which is like an amazing community that you and Rachel have started. You also have grief support and like ways to financially back your podcast. But I also want to know, with those things and beyond those things, how can your community give back to you and support you too. Like what makes you feel bolstered? What makes you feel supported in the work that you're doing, especially from the community that benefits from it?
I love nothing more than people being like, I brought up Remember Me today when I met someone, or, who's, you know, I think is looking towards a diagnosis. Like, I think just sharing us as a resource, I don't think people like commonly just think like, oh, a podcast. Like, I think having us up there with your list of resources that you give to people, or even just like, I really love when people say your um the podcast like helped me educate people outside of our family that I felt like never really got it until they listened to an episode. Like, I think so it's like twofold, like just sharing the stories that are impactful to you with other people that are in our community,
Mm-hmm.
and then people outside of our community that, are curious, or, a neighbor that's like, what the heck's going on over there? Like, I just think it's a good tool to help. You could look at a list of, the behaviors or the symptoms. But I
Mm-hmm.
think really hearing like, this took my mom and she did this, and like, but before that she was an incredible artist. Like, I
Right.
think it just humanizes things so
Yeah.
much. So I think using us as a resource to really educate, I think is is huge. I think it gives more compassion out there when people truly understand like what it like actually feels like.
Yeah.
So I think just sharing, I think we get such, positive feedback, and that really fuels us. Because it is hard. It's a hustle
Mm-hmm.
to keep it going, but we're so committed. We're gonna work it out. But yeah, just sharing. We want it to get to the people that need it. And
Yes.
also outside, like my original idea was like to educate people who aren't affected. That was like my starting
Mm-hmm.
point. And I didn't realize it would become such a resource to people going through it to
Right.
just feel that validation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, like let's share it out to people. Like, I don't know, share it with your PCP, your local PCP you've been seeing for 20 years. It's like, I don't know what that is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just share it out. And I think it's impactful too to be like, I think it's very overwhelming now that we have 120 episodes. People are like, where do I
Yeah.
start? And if you just like jump in with a random episode of like me and Rachel on a road trip, you might be like, what is this? So I think like I'll give a very specific ask.
Mm-hmm.
Share the episodes that like really touch you. Like, share a specific episode that's like, I want you to know about, disinhibition and FTD from season 8, and send someone that. Or I really want you to hear about Maggie and this woman's story of like, I loved in your episode you shared like actual things you wrote during that time. Like, you know, there's different things that resonate with different people. Like, share that specific episode. And I don't know, is that too much to ask?
Yeah, it's not too much at all. I was thinking you should make a wish list of all the presents you would like to receive in the mail, and like how you would like a fresh email in your inbox every morning
Yes.
expressing gratitude.
All of that is great
Yeah.
too. But yeah, just I think we just like want to be in the conversation, like think of us. And if you're like, wait, there's this conference or there's this opportunity or there's maybe we love to just like think outside the box. We want to get outside of this community too, to educate other people about what we're dealing with so we can get even more support.
Right.
Um, and like, and we can wrap up because I know this is so long and I keep
Yes.
rambling, but I've had so many thoughts this week as it's like FTD World Awareness Week, but like,
Yes.
I don't know, like, maybe like people can gain a little bit more compassion in this world if they hear some stories like this. Because I see so many TikTok videos and things that are like, listen to what this lady did when she came into the hair salon and what she said. And I'm like, what if she
Yes.
has FTD? Like, what if she
Yes.
has Alzheimer's? What if, like, I just want people to like think outside of like we just need more awareness, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. I had this idea of maybe making a movie for people to like be exposed. I don't know if you've
I
ever
feel like
thought of
that's
that.
a great idea. You
I
should
don't
do
know.
that.
It just came to me just now. Um, I thought maybe like that would maybe maybe if we partnered, what do you think?
Maybe. I think we
maybe
should. I think
maybe
remember we
remember
could be a
me.
should we be a producer on the film?
Oh,
What do you think?
it was said on this live. I
I
think we should.
mean, maybe. That'd be really good.
Let's imagine that for a moment.
Let's manifest. We're big
Yes,
manifestors over here.
yes,
That would be great.
yes. I feel like something genius just conspired
Yes.
here.
Thank
Oh
you
my
to
goodness.
everybody who's like been hanging with us. Like it's
I
so
know.
sweet.
It's so fun seeing all of you pop on. I will wrap it up because I also want to repost it, and I'm afraid I don't know how long of these that you can that you can. If it's like
I
an
don't
hour and a half,
know.
can you post it on your reel?
I don't know, but I will tell you, I'm pretty sure I have lipstick in my teeth for like the first 5 minutes of this.
I can't see. You look good to me. It's that
I was
light.
like, "Ah, I gotta put a look.
We'll
Someone
say
presenting
very demure.
money. Oh, very demure, very, very mindful. Oh,
They're
Kim. I
cutesy.
might want to be in on
No.
that too.
Mm.
Cutie, I just want to give you a big hug.
I want to
No,
give
I
you.
love you.
This is
You're just the
good as I can
best.
get. Thank you. Thank you. This is the energy that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you got to keep it going, keep the spirits up. And I think I'm going to end with this because you said you're motivated by love. It's the love for your mom, the love for Frank. I think the exact same thing. And I was, thinking about that the other day. Whenever I have like my anxious moments, I try to like still myself and meditate or imagine something. And I was thinking about being rooted in love and just how those roots are so deep for me. They just like go way down, and I was envisioning like a tree and the tree roots and how they go deep and they look wide and they provide so much stability for the tree. And I was thinking about how if my roots are that, then I have the ability to like use my arms to just scoop up as many people as possible into this story, and like we can keep bringing people in because we're so rooted and stable, like nothing's going to knock us over. So
Are,
that's what I'm giving us
are you
today.
are you a poet? That's your connection with Rachel. Rachel's always like, Katie's words. You guys are
We got the metaphors going. I love a
yes. I'm
metaphor.
like, tell me more. I will join your cult.
Yeah.
You are my leader.
Yeah. It's that hot. I did that hot shot today, and
Oh,
it's like still in my throat. Anyway,
I
I
love
love you.
you. I
Love you
love
back.
everybody watching. A sweeter chorus joined. I don't know if you know her. She's lovely
Aww.
too. Everybody on here is so lovely.
Yay! Yay! Well,
Uh,
thank you again. I'm sure we'll figure out another way to do something
oh,
in the meantime.
oh,
But
probably.
yeah, have a good night and enjoy
Thank
your time of
you.
quiet.
Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for
Oh,
joining, for
sunflowers.
being here.
That's my
Sunflower.
mom. Okay.
Yes. That's going to mean a lot to Joe if sunflowers. That's right. That's your mom.
Yeah, that's my sign with my mom is
Joe, you
sunflowers.
You have to DM. He'll tell you his story with
I
Sunflower.
don't know, Joe. Yeah.
He's a
Thank
good
you,
friend of
Joe.
mine. Yeah. Okay. Love
Love
everybody. Have a
you.
good night.
Good
Talk to
night.
you soon. Thanks for
Bye.